I just want to make sure that I'm saying this word properly.
Okay, because we've said it so much in prep. You're having...
I've said it so many times while preparing for this that I think I've been saying it wrong. It's not even a word to me anymore.
What was the good one that you were calling it? You weren't calling it the Zuckerberg testimony. It was
the Zuckerberg testes.
He said it. I'm looking at an article here. It's from CNN Money. It says Mark Zuckerberg made $3 billion while he sat for Congress's questions. That's three. I feel like he was basically just sitting and listening to a bunch of 60-year-olds talk to him about Facebook. I feel like if there's an equal money exchange for that, I've made at least $100 million.
That's fair. I think we should distribute that around a little bit.
So, Nate, do you want to explain to us what Zuckerberg is testifying about?
Yeah, so all this has to do with the Cambridge Analytica leaks that came out, where Cambridge Analytica was siphoning people's information from about 87 million Facebook users. But the only thing the internet can talk about is how weird Mark Zuckerberg looks. And when I say the internet, I mean the only thing Cody can talk about.
To be fair, though, have you looked at him?
That's not an argument.
He looks like he's a prototype for Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Watch him talk. Nothing on him moves except like from here down. Just go and watch. It's just...
Here's the thing. People on the internet are making fun of Mark Zuckerberg the way that a high school bully would make fun of a high school nerd.
Are we certain he hasn't escaped from Westworld?
But in this situation, the nerd that they're making fun of has $66 billion.
Okay, that's fair, but $66 billion, how much of that money would he give up for a strong jawline?
You're just doubling down on the same joke.
How much money would he give up if his skull didn't look like it was a gourd made from plaster?
It's just such a ridiculous argument, though, because like people are like, oh, look at the way he's drinking water. He drinks water weird. Have you ever filmed yourself drinking water? Cody, you don't look cool drinking water. I'm your roommate.
I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't want to use that. Okay.
I'm going to include that.
All right, so...
Granted, he was in a room full of people who do not know how to drink water.
Yeah, no, he's surrounded by politicians. Politicians are notoriously bad at drinking things.
Like, I think we could roll a couple clips.
Roll clips?
Nothing has frustrated me more than false choices like the one the president laid out to me.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, I know that I was giving him a little bit of crap, but I think that's okay. Like I said, if you're a billionaire, you can take getting a little bit of crap from people. And it really doesn't matter if he looks awkward or weird. Like, it doesn't matter if he looks awkward or weird while he's talking. He invented the way we talk.
Yeah, to be fair, while we were prepping this video, we were sharing notes on Facebook.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to live on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I fully recognize the irony of talking smack about Facebook in a Facebook video.
Well, this isn't the first time that we've talked smack about Facebook and put it on Facebook.
Yeah, we're really just trying to get their attention. But it's almost like you're sitting in a mansion and be like, this is a terrible mansion.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, goodness me, was this mansion built in the 70s? Well, nobody wants a 70s mansion. Are these...
Granted, there are cameras everywhere, though. There's like just cameras in there's cameras in the bathroom, and Charmin paid for it.
Okay, so I've got another article here. It's from CBS News. It says, commentary, why conservatives don't have Mark Zuckerberg's back. And, all right, let me just go ahead and answer that. It's because of everything about him.
That's fair. Here's the thing about Mark Zuckerberg. He goes to work with no shoes and like a hoodie on, which is like all the things that like conservatives are like lazy liberals, but he has $66 billion and owns one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah, he's like a modern day Rockefeller.
Well, he's a modern day Rockefeller who drinks what I imagine is a lot of kombucha.
Let's be honest, it would be much more palatable if Lindsey Graham was just like, Mr. Zuckerberg, this testimony is very good, but you're just such an unsettling person. We've decided to have you tell Jesse Eisenberg what to say.
Just feed the lines into his ears it's going to be way more enjoyable for all of this.
Zuckerberg's just like, actually, that movie was very inaccurate to the way that things. I didn't ask you what you thought, you weird plastic doll boy.
We've actually brought Aaron Sorkin here to write out your responses.
I don't. What do you even need me here anymore? We're all on Twitter, lazy.
Granted, Facebook might be like burying conservative content.
Okay. Yeah, there's.
Ted Cruz brought that up in his questioning.
Yeah.
And again, however you may feel about that, I don't think it's true.
Yeah, if you're a member of my family, you know for a fact that Facebook isn't burying conservative content.
Yeah, if you come from where we come from, and you have any of your friends left on high school on your Facebook page, you can see that they don't really bury conservative content.
If you live anywhere between the Atlantic seaboard and probably Vegas, you know for a fact Facebook is just conservative content.
My Facebook feed is literally, at least if I look at the people I went to high school with, is like gun memes and ads for Liberty Mutual.
Ted Cruz is the one that's saying they're burying conservative content, but I'm assuming that Ted Cruz, being a politician from Texas, just spends most of his time in Austin, and I think that there was some kind of weird like 1883 federal decree that said if you're liberal and want to live in the middle of the country, it's only Austin. It's Austin and like 2 neighborhoods in Chicago, and you're good.
That's your Mecca.
Yeah, that's all you get. If you don't want that, go live in California, nerd.
It's just grasslands and then Austin city limits.
Yeah, exactly. South by Southwest, and then gun shows.
Yeah. But we were researching this topic, and we're like, okay, is there anybody that's even comparable to the level of acclaim that Mark Zuckerberg has in this field?
There's only one person that we can think of.
There's only one man, and he's your friend and my friend. He's all of our friend at one point.
If you're over like 20, you were at one point friends with this guy. And I'm talking, of course, about Tom from MySpace.
Tom Anderson.
If you don't know who he was, Tom Anderson was the founder and CEO of MySpace, which was the world's biggest social network before Facebook.
He notably sold it in 2009 for $580 million.
Yeah, he sold it for $580 million in 2009. If you look up Tom Anderson's net worth right now, it's $60 million. He blew through $520 million in 8 years.
It's almost like he was like challenged. Like, you can keep $60 million, but you have to blow through this in a decade. He's like, yeah, no problem.
This was some kind of weird Brewster's Millions situation.
Yeah, and the thing is, I found his Instagram. And I see how he blew through $520 million.
No, what is this?
It's just jet setting around. There's a video of him like trying to find a camping spot in a helicopter. Like, whenever I go camping and I'm trying to find a spot, I just look up like a blog or something or a review. He's like, oh man, I'm going to need a helicopter.
I just assume he has a personal assistant named Susan. He's like, Susan, I think I'm going to go camping. Let's get a helicopter, see what Wolfgang Puck and Bear Grylls are doing. I want to make some really good s'mores.
And we're talking about these Zuckerberg testimonies, and we're watching it like he's pretty boring while he's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the more interesting person to be watching in this situation would be Tom from MySpace, just based on, because we've been watching a whole bunch of videos from his life, and he's an out there dude.
We were able to piece together what Tom Anderson has been doing since he founded MySpace.
Yeah, we started this whole thing just to be about Zuckerberg, and we're like, okay, for comparison, we'll talk about Tom, and found out Tom Anderson is the most interesting man alive right now.
He's so cool.
I want to be his friend.
Yeah, I want to hang out with him. Okay, so he founded MySpace in 2003 and sold it in 2009. He stayed on as CEO for 1 year and then left in 2010. And I assume he still had that $580 million. After 2010, he was in an Adam Sandler movie.
As we all want to be.
He tried to start a baseball team in Las Vegas. He was on the board of advisors for a Facebook app, and this is where it gets really interesting. During the 2011 Burning Man, he fell in love with landscape photography and has just been doing that.
How do you burn $520 million taking landscape photography photos?
I don't know. I
think he's traveling to other planets.
He's like, this was Mars.
If there's two things that Tom from MySpace did not know how to do, it was make an interesting news feed and invest his money, apparently.
What did he put like all his money in Snuggies?
I think he's not into making landscape photography. I think he's into making landscapes of his money. If you go to his house, his yard is like there's no grass. It's just like 20s. So whenever we were researching this, I kind of like wanted to see like, what if Tom Anderson was in this position? What if Tom Anderson was testifying on Capitol Hill?
Like being in a room for 10 hours with politicians is the exact opposite of Burning Man.
Just imagine it's like, Tom, were you selling people's personal information? I don't know, man. I was just selling crystals. Just like, you guys want to buy some crystals?
Here, I made this crystal jewelry. This one's made of amethyst.
And this is like just really helps with like your mood.
Yeah. Got this rose quartz. It's good for your energy. You seem like you would be good at that, Senator.
The thing is, I don't even think Tom from MySpace was watching the testimonies because there's no possible way based on his Instagram life that Tom from MySpace wakes up before 2 p.m.